Hello, everyone. Well, I've been living in Japan for about 7.5 years, and I'd like to talk a little bit about something that people who are here long term will eventually have to deal with, and that is passport renewal. Now, I really didn't see any videos about US passports. I did see some for some other countries, but I figured I'd just share my experience, and if you're from the US, then hopefully you'll be able to benefit from this information. Just a small note that this video is for US citizens over the age of 16 and renewing their passports. Also, as of November 7th, 2019, this information is accurate. If you're watching this video in the future, there is the possibility that some of this information may have changed or some of the conditions may have changed. It'll be on you to check into that. I take no responsibility whatsoever for any policy or procedural changes that may have occurred. So anyway, let's get into the process. The first thing that you'll need to do is set up an appointment online, which can be done at one of the 5 consulates or the embassy in the country. And just for reference, here's a list here. You can go to Sapporo, Tokyo, Osaka, which is where I went, Fukuoka, or Naha. After you determine where you're going to go, the next step is to make an appointment online. Here's an example screenshot of what the reservation screen looks like. This is what January of 2020 would be. I went to the consulate in Osaka, and passport renewal services are only available on Mondays through Thursdays. They're also only available in the morning. One unfortunate thing is that due to the limited schedule, if you're traveling to the consulate, you would likely have to take a day off of work just to go there. So be sure to work things out with your company if need be. While you're making a reservation online, you'll be on a screen that looks like this. Just go ahead and fill it out. I also like how the submit button is pretty much hidden on the form down at the bottom left there. The page pretty much just ends abruptly right there, so you can just be aware of that. After you finish filling out the application, be sure to review the information and then submit it. Now, I didn't want to submit a fake application just for the sake of this video. You'll just need to fill out the form and the page will take you through the rest of the process. After you submit a reservation, you'll be given some info on the completion screen that they'll ask you to print out and bring along with you. I simply just copied the text from that screen and, made a text file and printed that off, and that was good enough. One concerning point, though, please be aware of this, the consulate will not send you a confirmation email that your reservation went through okay. At least I didn't get one. Thankfully, there was nothing else that needs to be done to finalize the reservation. Like there's no email where you'd need to click a link or anything like that. It just went through. But, not providing a confirmation email stating that the reservation was okay was pretty unprofessional, I feel, on the part of the consulate. But just be aware of that. Maybe that'll be rectified by the time that you do it. Anyway, after making the reservation, the next step is to fill out the passport application form, which is called DS82, and this can also be done online. Here's a screenshot of the page where you can select the form. And what you basically do is answer a series of questions, and it'll generate a printable form that you can use. Once you're ready to start filling out this form, please be sure that you have your original passport handy, as you'll need to put that in your passport number as well as the expiration date. Once you're done filling out the form, you'll be given a PDF file which you can download, and I would save that to my computer, as I didn't actually see anywhere online where you can save it online or recover it once you're done with it. So, just save that so that way you have it with you. Be sure to check over the file before printing it, of course, and please note that you have to print each page separately. You can't do double-sided prints. They won't accept that for whatever reason. Another little thing about the form is that I have a Japanese address, and when I filled out my address, there was no place on the form to actually put in the prefecture in which I live in, which was kind of strange, but I mentioned that to the staff when I was at the consulate, and they just had me, hand write it in there, so, whatever. If you run into that issue, don't worry about it. And that's all you need from the US Consul website. In addition to that material, you're going to need to have a passport photo, which is basically you facing forward with a white background, and it has to be within a 2x2 box. In Japan, they have these photo booths which are found in a lot of major stations, and they're pretty good at guiding you through the process. It's also possible, though, you can get an ID done at a photo place. They may be available, but it depends where you live. You'll have to check in your area. In my case, I was fortunate in that I just had the photo taken by a colleague of mine and edited it and printed it myself. So, and of course the photo I submitted was fine. So if you can do that, great. In my case, though, I also wear glasses, and in the photo you cannot have glasses. It calls for no glasses and a neutral expression. So, something like this. But anyway, you only need one photo, and if you get multiple ones printed, that's fine. But and I would just bring them in case, maybe, if you have to cut out the photo and it's just maybe a little bit too small, then they might ask you to, you need a correct size photo. So be careful with that. They might complain. So, it doesn't hurt to have multiple photos. The last thing you're going to need is a letter pack envelope. These are envelopes that you basically prepay and have stuff sent to yourself. You can simply purchase these at a post office, although I understand that some convenience stores also carry them, so, that might be a possibility. In my case, I simply got mine at the post office, though. I went with the version that has tracking and requires a signature. For an important document like a passport, I just paid the extra 100, 200 yen to ensure that it gets in my hands and my hands only, and then sign for it. And with that, those were all the preparatory measures I needed to take. Next, I'll talk about the actual day itself and some things that you need to know before actually going to the consulate. So my appointment was on Thursday, November the 7th at around 9 a.m. And to go to the consulate, I decided to take the night bus on the previous day. It's not really the most comfortable way to go, but, it was either that or take a train and then stay in a hotel. And, that can be kind of pricey. So I basically just did it to save the money. It arrived around 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Here's a photo of the Osaka sunrise. And on the trip, I took my backpack with me. Here it is. Which is fine for the trip. However, you can't actually take anything like that into the consulate, like no large bags or anything like that. All I had with me was a piece of, like a plastic file like this, which had the documents inside. I had the letter pack, of course. That was too big for the file. I just carried that separately. And then I had my wallet, my keys, and my cell phone. There's only one electronic device allowed, so before you actually go to the consulate, you need to review the list of prohibited articles on their site. Because if you actually try to take something that's, on the list and you're basically not following the rules, your appointment gets canceled and you have to reschedule for a future day. You cannot, just set it down somewhere. They will cancel you. So be aware of that. At Osaka Station, there are plenty of lockers like what you see in the photo here, where you can store anything that you don't need to bring with you. So if you bring a backpack like I did, please be sure to do that. One thing to be aware of, however, is that sometimes these lockers may be unavailable. I heard of this happening when certain politicians are visiting Japan. Even if it's not in the same city, they will still shut down the coin lockers. So, be aware of that possibility. If you happen to be going to the Osaka consulate, then here's a little bonus about getting to the consulate. If you're going elsewhere, however, then you're going to need to research how to get to your respective place. Supposedly there's a subway station nearby, but seeing as that the walk from the main station is only like 10 minutes, I really saw no point of using the subway at all. Anyway, what you need to do is go out the south side of the station. The consulate itself is actually to the southeast. I recommend being on the second floor when you go out. There's this little walkway that brings you out into a view of a building with a little opening that you can see in the photo here. Walk in the direction of that building, and you'll need to cross the street at some point to get over to the building. Here's another shot of the building up close. When you get there, you'll need to go around to the back side of the building, and that'll take you into view of the consulate building. And here's what the consulate building itself looks like. It's across another street. If you focus and zoom in on this part of the photo here, you can actually make out the US seal on the building. So once you get there, the security will most likely, approach you and ask you, why are you here? You can just tell them that you have an appointment, show them the appointment details, and then they'll check the list of appointments and make sure that you don't have any of the prohibited articles. And if you're good to go, then you'll be granted access into the building. They'll, of course, run you through the metal detectors, and once that's fine, you'll then be directed on where you need to go in the building. When you reach the receptionist area, then you'll go over and give them your documents, and they'll look those over, and then you'll eventually have to pay. For payment, you can do that in either US dollars or Japanese yen. In my case, I just paid in yen because that was much simpler rather than having to convert the money. And it's the same, it basically comes out to the same amount anyway. And once that's done, they will then mail your passport to you within 2 to 3 weeks. I got mine in around 10 days, but it'll vary by person. You'll also receive your old passport with you. Let me go get it here. So this is the old one, and you can see there's two little holes here. That indicates that the passport's no good, and then my new one, which is inside of a plastic case, is like that. And yeah, so now that I have it, it's good for 10 years, and I won't have to renew it until 2029, so that's good. And afterwards, I just spent some time around Osaka. I figured since I'm in the city, I can enjoy it for a little bit. Osaka Castle is a great place to go. And yeah, that was pretty much my experience. It wasn't too bad. And it was, other than the, no confirmation email, yeah, there was nothing wrong with it. The next thing I have to do is deal with my visa renewal, and I may make a video about that. We'll see. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you very much for watching the video. Hopefully you got something out of it, and take care.